Santa Claus, Kris Kringle, Jolly Saint Nick. Whatever name you know him by, you know that he is a great symbol for the holiday season. Let's get one thing out of the way. Santa Claus is make-believe, but your parents made one time of the year amazing for you by pretending he wasn't. More specifically, Christmas time. A time of joy, giving, and love. And Santa is a great representation for all of these things. He is a symbol that has brought nostalgic holiday magic for generations. The tale of Santa is absolutely positive and should be taught to children for years to come. And no, that's our statement.
All right. So, my argument is that Santa is a lie. It makes you less trustworthy as a parent. It allows your children to become more gullible, and to, they trust people too easily. It discourages their imagination, and it can be used as an excuse to good behavior or bribery.
Also, to another point, we consider Santa being a class oppressor. How come the rich kids now have the better presents instead of the poor kids?
Back to your side, you got 4 minutes to talk about your 4 points.
So Santa, you say he doesn't bring creativity to kids, but really, what's more creative than picking up a person who goes around the world at one night and delivers toys to people? He brings joy and happiness to kids.
Another positive aspect of Santa Claus is that he helps kids behave. Frankly, you act bad, you don't get presents. What else? Hey, if me being nice to my younger brother means I get an Xbox at the end of the year, I'm absolutely going to act better. I mean, who else is going to offer that other than Santa Claus? You can't expect your parents to cough out an Xbox, because that would put too much pressure on the parents. So having this scapegoat that the kids can blame for not getting good presents, or be held accountable for getting better presents, it's just great for the parents.
And when you do eventually find out that Santa isn't real, it's going to help soften the blow from when you actually lose your loved ones. It's not going to be as hard, but it'll teach you that not everything is going to be that bad.
And when you find out that Santa Claus isn't real when you're a child, it can be devastating. But it can also make you feel like you're part of something bigger now. After you find out Santa's not real, you suddenly become part of this whole Christmas game that all the grown-ups are. It makes you feel like you've hit a new part in your life where you're becoming an adult. Now you're responsible of making kids believe this fun fairy tale that is going to bring them great memories. And
It's just a great part of being a kid.
it is a great part of being a kid. That's good. I think that's good.
Kind of going back to your point as to it kind of behaving good solely for the purpose of presents, that honestly kind of just makes up my entire point. That promotes bad behavior. You shouldn't be behaving well just to get an Xbox. You should be behaving well all times, and still have those wants of an Xbox or toy car or anything like that. It shouldn't be reliant on if you get those things or not. You should just be behaving well anytime, any given circumstance.
Right, so again, to the point that Cole said about imagination. So let's pretend we have a scenario who, as a kid, has a towel wrapped around his neck and he thinks it's Superman. Yeah, you see that little kid, he's adorable. Let him go. That's imagination right there. But also, the same scenario changes if you see your kid going on top of the roof thinking he's still Superman. You're going to put a stop to that because his imagination just gotten off the roof and he's actually thinking the little bastard can fly. Well, you guys telling me it promotes imagination? Well, I think he should be told the truth. There's certain things, right? I mean, if you're going to see your child jump from a house, they think it's like, oh, it's Superman. Nah, he's gonna live, it's fine. He believes in Santa also. And that's it. I got off topic. Also, so, are we supposed to tell our children that Santa really exists? I mean, yeah, I understand it brings joy to children. Yeah, you get an Xbox and the parents, alright, feels okay with the Xbox in there. But also, it's just a story. Why do we need to make our children believe it is actually true? So, let's put example, the Star Wars movie. So they see it, and then they're gonna be like, oh, Dad, if Star Wars really, really happened in a far, far away place, and we have a Luke Skywalker inside of us all, well, I'm gonna tell them, no, it's just a story, just like Santa is. And I'm done.
Also, it really isn't kind to the kids or necessary. Kids can still enjoy the make-believe wonder without having fabrications made up by us. And all kids are different when it comes to fantasy, so it's really not worth the risk of giving them that lie, leaving them along when you don't know how bad the fallout will be. That's all.
Okay, now you guys have 1 minute to prep for the open debate.
Yeah. I guess we're starting. Yeah.
Whoever's their hand up.
Now, you brought up the point of presents, how Santa giving us presents is just going to make the kids expect to get something for reward. That's a primal instinct that any creature on Earth has. Every living thing expects some cause and effect. You know, reward after something happens. Now, you can't blame this on Santa Claus. Santa Claus didn't design the human mind. But something that Santa Claus does help with is that when we find out Santa's not real, it helps us realize that it's not all about the presents. The real fun in it was the giving from both us and the parents, and you get to kind of see how Christmas is just almost as fun, you know, not budget-wise, but just as fun for the parents as it was for the kids, because the parents got to bring the smiles to the kids' faces.
See, now you could have that wonder and that realization of the other aspects of Christmas in that much more time of that kid's childhood without the fake fabrication of Santa being actually real. Going back to how you were talking about the going along with the whole adult game afterwards of making Santa real, not all people will be the same, just like not all kids will be the same. They could just ruin it for every other kid, or they can
I'll let you finish your statement.
they can like just be bitter about it and just have a whole ripple effect.
Okay. The kids that just go around telling all the other younger kids that Santa's not real, that's just the kid. That's the parent. That's bad parenting. That's a bad kid. That's the parent's fault. That shouldn't be blamed on the source. That's some of my best memories are from Santa Claus, and I even went to the source of Santa Claus. I phoned my parents to find out, you know, what they thought of this whole thing. And to quote my mother, she said, seeing the smiles on our faces on those Christmas mornings, one of the best things about being a parent. And I agree with that. I mean, I'm not a parent, but I can definitely see why that would be one of the greatest feelings.
And what kids are bitter about finding out Santa Claus wasn't real? I mean, I don't know anyone that's really bitter.
Everyone's going to be bitter at first, but then you have to it's a part of growing up, overcoming that bitterness, becoming an adult and becoming more mature about this whole Santa thing.
Yes, but like I said earlier, everyone's different. Do you know anyone that's bitter?
Do you know anyone that's still bitter about
Yes,
Santa?
I actually do, in fact. But like, you don't know anyone that's bitter doesn't mean there's no one out there that isn't bitter about Santa not being real. Kind of like, we don't have to just tell them the truth all the time. It's obviously not okay to lie to children, but that doesn't mean it's never okay to lie. Just because we tell them the truth about one thing doesn't mean we have to tell them the truth about everything.
Here's something. I don't think that it's necessarily lying to your children about Santa Claus. I call that more of a fib. Now, say you have a kid one day, great young age of 5 years old, they come up to you and they say, "Where do babies come from?" Now, are you going to be the one that goes into the gross details of that, or are you going to tell them about the stork or whatever fairy tale that kids are told about that? Now,
You don't want kids growing up too soon.
exactly.
Let them believe what they need to believe.
See, now you don't have to come up with the artificial stork story or they come from outer space or anything like that. You could simply just get them to understand that they will know in time and they can, like, everything has its place in time. And that, like, you can go educate them in a safe and knowledgeable environment so they actually understand what's going on. Not just with baby making, but with Santa as well.
Also, again, your point that you brought up, like you called your parents and then you obviously were raised with the belief of Santa. Well, I was the opposite. I knew from the start that my parents got me the presents and that they were my Santa. Okay, I don't believe in a magical man who can fit.
Great open debate, you
Just
guys.
kidding, yeah.
Go ahead.
So before I got cut off, this will be now my closing statements. Like you said, yeah, you were raised with believing Santa Claus, and I wasn't. And I know from day one.
Quick.
Oh, okay, sorry. I know that my parents were the Santa Claus, and yeah, that feeling for the parents and like saw their smiles is the greatest thing in life. I have a little sister, I do it all the time. But then I raised her too, like Santa is not real. Like we can get you presents depending how you behave in the year, right? So if you behave like a normal child throughout the year, you know, with positive attitude and everything, you will get a present. And I don't have to bring that whole statement like if Santa is gonna come, you better watch out and you better not cry.
Just building off of that, telling the story or playing the game of Santa can be good fun, but going out of our way to make them believe that he's actually real just isn't necessary. We can get into the Christmas spirit as much as our children wish by just following their lead instead of dragging them along in an elaborate lie.
Okay, so you say that you base giving your sister Christmas presents on how good she behaves,
Yes.
which is exactly what Santa would do, right? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it's like a great part of Christmas. Everybody is in on the fun. You're gonna have Christmas parties with Santa there. You can go see him at the mall. You're having a good time. It doesn't any detriment to your childhood.
Santa's a great non-religious tie to Christmas that anyone can appreciate. People around the world who aren't necessarily Christian or follow the Christian holiday that is Christmas, they can still appreciate Santa Claus. For example, in Japan, when I visited there, in the town of Hiro, they have a little Santa Land, which is a tourist attraction that celebrates Christmas and Santa Claus. And it just goes to show that all over the world, Santa's a great part of growing up and brings people together for the celebration that is Christmas. A time of giving joy and fun and statement.
Excellent debate, you guys.